Welcome to another how-to video. Today we have a very special guest and friend of mine, Jason Lee from To Buy A Surfboards in Oahu, Hawaii. Jason, how are you?
I'm good. Aloha, Mike. How's it? Good morning. Nice to see you.
I'm doing good, and it's great to see you on this digital screen. And soon I'll be seeing you when I'm in Hawaii.
I
Um,
know. Hope so. Yep.
it's been a while, so I'm excited to come back. So
Yep.
today we want to talk about ASYM, which stands for asymmetrical
Yep.
surfboards, and what the benefits are and why people should ride one. And your specialty is ASIMs. You love them. So my first question to you is to explain to anybody who has maybe never heard or seen an ASIM, what is an ASIM?
So an ASYM surfboard works with your body to make surfing easier. And in the process of designing and refining this whole thing, it's just a much faster board. The thought is that your foot is shaped differently. Oh wow, my feet are so dirty. From your heel to your toe. So on your toe side, I'm gonna back up here. You're crouching down like this over your knees, and on your heel side, you can only go back so far. So on a conventional board, symmetrical board, and this is a twin fin. Um, it's a very predictable, very traditional type of approach where you have to adjust the amount that you push on your heel side versus your toe side. Whereas on an ASYM board, you have your toe side here, which is like a regular, whatever board you ride normally. This is a 5/8 for me, so I like a 5/8 in my small short boards. This is a swallowtail, and the heel side gets cut off about to anywhere between 1 3/4 to about 5 inches. And what that does is it shortens the rail line, so the water doesn't have to pass as much distance before it clears. So once you roll it over on your heel, that shorter rail line allows you to draw a much tighter arc much faster. And all of my ASIMs, I don't put a center fin, because as soon as you remove that center fin, like, you just take out the anchor and it's just way faster. I don't know if that makes sense.
So the ASIM is designed to work where the tail is not equal lengths, it's asymmetrical. You have a little
Yep.
bit more tail on your toe side, less tail on your heel side. So it
Yep.
loosens up how far you have to push that rail on your heel side.
Correct. Yep. That's
Okay.
exactly, you nailed it. Yeah.
And so for anyone who's not familiar with ASIMs, well, I'll let you answer this question. You kind of already answered why ride an ASIM. An ASIM is going to loosen up that heel side toe. How do you pick the right ASIM for you, whether you're goofy footed, regular footed? And I see you got different ASIM tails in the back, it looks like. How do you pick which design to go for?
You talk to the shaper. The easiest way to do it is because I did conventional thrusters for years and years and years. So once I got to a point where I felt like I had finalized that design, that's when I experimented with ASIMs. So you take the board that you already like, you keep those dimensions, and so nothing has to change in terms of volume or the rails or the rail apex. All that changes is the tail, the back half of the board. As far as tail shape goes, some people like the feel of a swallowtail, so I make asymmetrical swallowtails. Some people like the feel of a more rounded corner. I can make this into a round pin into a swallow. I can even terminate it in the middle and make a diamond tail here, and a diamond tail on your toe side to a round tail on your heel side. It's really up to you what you want to feel. So my interaction with somebody that orders a board is I usually like to see what they're riding and why they like to ride what they ride. I ask them about squash tails, round tails, swallow tails, how you like to leverage the board. All of those things come into play. Some people really, here's the thing, two people of the same ability who both either rip or they're intermediates or whatever at the same ability are going to like two different things. So you can't build the same board for both guys. Rockers have to change a bit. The tail outline has to change. It's really up to the rider. So what I encourage is just an open dialogue. And I mean, you know how it is. We've talked design a ton.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of conversations I like to have with people that order boards from me.
It's
It's not,
interesting.
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I never thought about it. You know, for example, I have your Berserker. Love the board. I mean, when I
Oh,
first demoed your Berserker, I was surfing off the wall on an unseasonably summer day.
yeah,
It was like head high, maybe a little bit overhead, and I was riding like a 5'4". And that board was amazing. I mean, I could just whip it under my feet. I got a board, I brought it home. I never put it together until you just said it now. It's a swallowtail.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
fish. It's a swallowtail. You know, but because it's an ASYM, I'm looking at the design and I'm not realizing that you're just taking a swallowtail outline and adjusting it. And like you
yeah,
said, if you love writing pintails, give me your pintail dimensions. It's still going to be a pintail. It's just going to be altered to change that rail.
correct. Exactly. So some like with the pintail, some people like that auto centering feel where the board terminates right at the stringer.
Mhm.
And that's why people like thrusters. They like once you roll it over to the rail, the board kind of wants to level itself again. So that's easy enough to do by making the tail outline terminate in the center. There's guys like myself, like I grew up riding twin fins. I learned on a twin fin. The first board I ever stood up on was a Glen Pang 5/8 Tonic Country, like back in the 80s. And um, so I'm really used to that heel toe, like kind of dynamic. And that's how I like to ride. And that's kind of how I encourage guys to ride it. It's like you're not gonna sit in the center like a thruster. You're gonna keep that rail engaged all the time, and we can performance it up to make it super sensitive, or we can tone it down to make it more stable. But that's kind of the school of thought there.
What about when picking out an ASIM length? Like, for example, this is a two-part question, actually.
Yeah.
I ride typically a 5'10". So if I
Yeah.
wanted to get a standard shortboard, would I
Yeah.
still order a 5'10"?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So length, here's the thing with length and ASIMs is that they don't necessarily ride longer or shorter, even though you're riding a shorter heel side rail. Most people kind of base the performance of a board off their toe side. So if you like riding a 5'10", you order a 5'10", and when I shape it and I retemplate the tail, it might come out to about, on the average, about 2 inches shorter. So you're taking a 5'10" and you're blending it with 5'8" on your heel
So
side.
your toe side
And
is 5'10", your heel side is 5'8".
5'8", yeah, correct. And then the fins shift accordingly, like you can see on this mint board. The school of thought that I started with was if your fin placement on your toe side is a certain number, if you cut the rail 2 inches, now your fins shift up.
Gotcha.
That was kind of the starting point, and it's since like super evolved from then. Like lots of hard miles, lots of dollars figuring out fin placements, but
I remember seeing some of your earlier boards that had like graphs and lines and measurements all over the fin placement. It was pretty cool to like dive into your mind and where you were going.
yeah, yeah.
So
Fins are kind of everything. But that said, I don't know what other ASIM shapers do or how their boards feel. To be honest, I haven't really tried anything else, but except my boards. And um, for me, like I like the water to move really fast through the bottom of the hull. And I like the fins to engage quickly and be very directional. So that's how set up my boards. It's always speed first, and you know what that feels like, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've ridden a few of your boards, own them, and they're fast, they're fun. I'm telling you, I'll go back. That time I demoed that Berserker, I thought about it for what 5, 6 months till finally I was like, just make me one, and I'll find a way to get it from Oahu to California.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because I
yeah.
couldn't stop thinking about the way it felt. I mean, I would go to bed and remember, I'm going to say this again. It was summertime. I was
Yeah.
surfing gas chambers, not
Right.
the season that you expect to surf gas chambers. And it made such a great, granted, it wasn't powerful gas chambers, it was
Yeah,
summertime gas chambers. But the feeling that Berserker gave me stuck
yeah,
with me for months till I
right,
ordered one. So
right.
to kind of sum this up for anybody who's never ordered an ASYM, if you want to try someone and you want to experiment, different types of boards and how an ASYM feels, what you want to do is take the board that you like. If you ride a 510, discuss with your shaper. I ride a 510. Here are my dimensions. I like swallowtails or round tables or pintails. And then you will take the information you gather from the surfer and say,
Yeah,
okay, you're regular footed, your toe side's going to be 5'10", your heel side's going to be 5'8", and what that's going to do is allow you to just hold the same line toe side because you can lean over more, and gives you a little bit more freedom on the heel side so you can
right.
really dig that tail in and whip it up on your bottom turn. And I can say I've even noticed it while doing like a front side carve. I can feel that looseness and then feel it grab again as I get back to
Mhm.
my toe side to wrap it around.
Yep.
The first time you're at an ASIM, it's a little bit of a trip, but it feels good.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing is they look so weird. And there's a certain kind of rider who's super locked into a squash tail thruster and that look of symmetry, and it's a beautiful thing. But what I tell guys is, and they're usually really open-minded guys that come to me, and I tell them, you know what, don't think about it, just ride it. Because if you overthink it, like I don't know, the whole idea is to ride it, right? That's why I make boards, and that's why I make them different, is because you want it to feel like it's glued to your feet, like it stays under you, like with every bit of input, you get squirt or result. So when you're wrapping it around on your heel side, that extra 2 inches is gone. So and that wrap comes around so much easier. Okay, wait. I don't know. Does that answer the question? But it sounds
yeah,
like you articulated it perfectly. And I saw it right away on that on that surf cam footage.
yeah,
And the fact that you're chasing it for months, like that's my end goal for everybody I make a board for. That it's to chase that feeling. It's to bring you something fresh and something alive that brings a new like dimension to your surfing. And a lot of guys are surprised. They're like, wow, I never even thought I could surf that good. I felt like one guy told me immediately I felt like I surfed better. And that was my experience when I made my first ASYM board, which was a copy of that.
mhm,
It was just like I took it out on this clean day about this big. And my litmus test for a surfboard is a roundhouse cutback. And the thing like led into the turn really good and really clean. But when I came around, like my God, was so fast and so loose and whippy, but not like a twin, because
right,
there's fins on the rail. You can just push that thing super hard and crank it at the end. And so as a result, like for sure, my roundhouse cutbacks have gotten better.
yeah,
But you know, in every way, the board is just designed to enhance your muscle memory and make it easier.
yeah. It makes sense because I can tell you, I love when I get a surfboard and I don't have to think. I'm already thinking about the wave. You know what I mean? Like whether it's a mushy wave, a hollow wave, a fast wave, if it's the kind of wave where I can come straight off the bottom and straight up, or if I got to get a couple pumps in.
Mhm.
And it's nice to have that board, not have to think about the board. You know what I mean? I'm thinking about the wave ahead. And when that
Yeah,
board feels like an extension of me, it
yeah,
makes surfing so much better. And
right.
and if your backhand, I know it sounds kind of silly, but if your backhand feels as loose as your toe side, it makes
Mhm.
it where, it just feels different. It feels good. So
Yeah.
I suggest everybody should try an ASIM. Everybody should have an ASIM in their quiver. I have no problem going from my ASIM to my symmetrical surfboard. I just,
Yeah.
like you said, I try not to think about it. I'm just
Yep.
grabbing the right tool for the right day.
Yep.
Um, we should always support our local shapers. If people want to learn more about ASIM or just Kolea surfboards in general, why don't you shout out your Instagram and if they can DM you or whatever?
Yeah, you can find me at Kulia Surfboards on Instagram, and I am working on a website that's being finalized right now. So that way you can sort of just park yourself there and digest everything that ASIMs are about and marinate on that and look at the different models. That's coming up shortly, soon. But in the meantime, check out Instagram and you can DM me. That's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Gotcha.
I
And
try.
Kolea is Kolea, correct?
Yeah, Kolea. It's a bird that migrates from Alaska to Hawaii every winter, 2,000 miles or whatever it is in one shot. So they hang out from I think October to April, then they take off. So my Hawaiian culture friend told me Kolea is a good word, a good brand name for you because that's like your journey, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. It's kind of started off as a joke because I'm Korean.
Uh-huh.
And we were in Western Samoa, and the kid in the village couldn't say my name, Jason. So my friend's heckling me. He's Korean. He's Korean. The kid's all Kolea. So that's stuff. So I just made it my name brand. Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it, man. I mean, you make
So,
great boards. You're an all-around great guy, and you got a great name for your surfboards.
thank
So
you. All.
reach out, check out Jason, check out an ASIM, and we will catch you on the next How To episode.
Yes, mahalo, Mike. Take care.
I'll talk to you soon.